Do you have any personal stories in the workplace where you were made to feel less than equal by a male or female?
I have a story.
Uh-oh.
Um, I mean, it happens all the time, I feel like, in entertainment. But when I worked at Airmark, my first job out of college, it was 2009 when the recession hit and we all got laid off. And then they brought two of us back to interview for the same role. And it was a Black lady that I was interviewing with. She was the HR director for the region. And she already didn't like me because the previous summer I was wearing open-toed shoes at Angel Stadium, but at the Honda Center you could wear open-toe shoes or whatever. So she already had it out for me. And at the time, I should note, my mom worked at Airmark. She didn't get me the job. She came after me. But people knew that my mom was in HR and they knew who my mom was. So in the interview process, she says to me, "Why should I hire you?" Actually, I'm sorry. I didn't get the role. The other girl got the role and declined it. So they brought me back in to interview for it again. And she said to me, "Why should I hire you? I don't hire losers."
Dang.
Yeah. So went on this whole rant about how I was not good enough for the role. And then they offered me the role. I did not take the role. I was like, I'm just going to be unemployed. And then I wrote a letter. So she was disciplined, but probably 4 years after that, I found her on LinkedIn. And I wrote her this long message on LinkedIn telling her all the stuff that I accomplished, being this loser that does, they didn't want. And she didn't respond, but she read the message. So like this moment, I got my HR certification. I think I was working at Revolt at the time as the head of HR. So there was a lot of progression there. And so I had to let her know that that's unfortunate as a Black woman, you're not lifting us up, that you're putting me down. And I was literally maybe 22 or 23 at the time. All happened.
Did we leave the curses in or out of the message to her?
I left it out because my mom was still an employee there, but my mom was actually waiting for one of the regional HR meetings, but unfortunately she never showed up. But then they ended up like shipping this woman off to a location that no one wanted to work at just because of her behavior.
Wow. If she had wrote it on Twitter, it would have been some cuss words. It was LinkedIn, so we can't do that. I think that's powerful though, because there's power in saying no. And a lot of times we just accept, especially when we're in the moment of need. And, good for you for saying no. A lot of us don't. It's a talent, It's a skill also. So good job.
Yeah.
Miss Aisha.
Like Stacey said, it's a lot of that in corporate entertainment, or probably just entertainment in general. So I could go on and on. I ain't gonna say no names. I ain't gonna drop no companies and all that because I still work in it. But I think people have this natural sense of, well, I walked 9 miles of snow to get the cheesecake from, making the band or whatever. So you got to do it too. And that's not really the case. And times have changed and technology has changed. And then, then you get catty women that, are threatened because you might be cuter or more likable. Then you got to worry about the guys too. So, you just kind of get from both angles. I have a lot of those stories, but that's one of the biggest reasons I went into DJing was because I felt like I was getting the short end of the stick a lot of times in these corporate places that I was working, that like nobody really wanted to help me get ahead or get that raise or get the promotion or let me even, get any visibility. And so DJing kind of emerged out of that, and it's basically like a fuck you. Like, you can't do this. You cannot do this. You'll never do this. Anybody can answer a phone and send a file and all that and be a coordinator. Like, you can't do this. You won't be able to do this. And you can't determine my rate. You can't. I'm controlling that. So, yeah, it's been great. But I had to go through those, shorthand sidestepping, things. It happens a lot.
Can we get a finger snap in Z formation for that? Mike.
A circle too.
All right, Miss Janice.
Same thing. I feel like in every industry it's like that. Going into an interview, if I have a female that's interviewing me, I automatically feel like I'm not going to get the position.
Wow.
Especially if it's a Black female.
Wow.
Which is very sad. And I say this, I've been saying this, I don't feel like Black people, like in corporate America, help each other out or try to, for some reason they feel once they get you to where they are, that you're gonna all of a sudden like shit on them and then like try to take their position. So I mean, it's just something that you kind of have to get used to. I don't like having female bosses either, because I feel like it's always a competition with something, you know, and they're always trying to be like, well, I peed on this, so let me see, you know. And I rather a male anyway, because I feel like I want to show a little bit of kitty to see if I can get my way. And,
Okay. Guess that works sometimes too.
I got something
It
to add
does.
really quickly.
Yeah.
I've had both actually. It hasn't just been black people. It has been other races. It doesn't matter really. Like if they see you as a threat, they see you as a threat. You know, because I thought, you know, working with an all black company, I was like, oh, my people, whoop. Then I went to, you know, the corporate white company, and it was they might have been worse actually. So for me personally, it has been other races too. It ain't just a black people don't want to see you get ahead. White people don't want to see you get ahead either.
No, I'm not saying that the white people want to see you get ahead, but I do find that in corporate office, the white people make sure that their other white people are getting ahead. Or
that's true.
so it's not that they want to definitely help us out. We already
They
know
were looking out for their own.
Yeah, so
Like
I
we
feel
should
like
look out for our own. Okay, that's
correct.
Fair.
So
There
I'm
you
just
go.
like,
Okay.
damn, why can't we look out for each other
Right,
like that too?
right.
You know what I mean? Like even especially at the company that I work for, it's basically you can barely get in unless you know somebody.
Mhm.
But it's never, you always see everyone like at the top, like, oh, that's so and so's cousin. Oh, did you know that's her brother-in-law? Like, did you know, like
Yeah.
at the top. But then it's just like, okay, well, you in a position, you know, hook us
Help
up.
us out.
Kind of like our presidential cabinet right now, right?
Mm.
Nepotism at its finest.